Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Omaha. Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Luis Scott Vargas. We've got Sam Pardee versus Dylan Ionis, and we're ready for the semifinals. Black-green Constrictor in the hands of Sam Pardee. That is the only non-Teamer Aetherworks Marvel deck left in our field. There were 6 in the top 8, and 3 remain of the 4 decks viable. So Dylan is looking to squash the Black-green Constrictor out of here and put us into a all-Teamer Aetherworks Marvel final. We'll see if he lets him. This is Sam Pardee playing, well, not for long. He's going to play a Walk-In Ballista, put it on the stack because he's got a chance to see the deck list. And he knows that Dylan is running Censor. So he says, can I play this? And Dylan says, yeah, sure you can. Before he can even put a counter on it, he gets Magma Sprayed. Now, of course, it comes with the counter on it, so he did get to hit Dylan for 1, but Dylan had the answer in hand for it.
And interestingly enough, Dylan chose not to censor the Walk-In Ballista. He actually had that, partially because Magma Spray does not answer Winding Constrictor as one of Sam's early plays. So he's got to... It's not often that you don't use Censor when you're able to use Censor. That card gets cast counter spells at a very high rate when it's possible. But in this case, Dylan's like, well, I'll probably have a better target for Censor later in the game.
And if not, of course, he's always got that cycle backup plan. Dylan has once again passed the turn with those 2 mana up. And as a result, Sam Pardee declines to play a 2 mana spell, just plays an Evolve in Wilds and pass. And Dylan says, okay, fine. I'm not going to sit here and try to work this Censor too hard. I'm just going to go ahead and cycle it right now. Hits his land drop. He's on 4. He's got 3 energy, but no Aetherworks. Now, he could have one in his hand and have decided not to play it to expose it to a card like Censor's Deliverance.
So it's interesting how that works. In Game 1, that's what Dylan wants to do. Because Sam has 3 copies of Dissenter's Deliverance and no hand disruption, it's way better for Dylan to not play Marvel until he has 6 mana. That actually kind of switches in Games 2 and 3 when Sam has 4 Transgress and 2 Dispossess, at which point Marvel's unsafe in your hand and safer on the battlefield. So Dylan is something, I'm sure he's aware of this, and he's going to be able to play with that in mind. Unfortunately for Sam, Tireless Tracker is very susceptible to Censor because you always want to play it before playing your land.
Yeah, it really is.
That second copy of Censor from Dylan actually paid dividends here.
Really did. Sam Pardee with what looks like multiple Ulamogs in hand, perhaps? Or, excuse me, Dylan with multiple Ulamogs in hand, perhaps? Try to see if we can get a good look at his hand here. Oh, yeah, he's got 2 in his hand.
An extremely hungry hand.
Oh, yeah. And he's going to have to just play a Whirler Virtuoso and pass the turn back to Sam.
So Dylan up to 8 energy now. So if he finds a Marvel, which he doesn't have access to right now, he can play it and spin it.
How many copies of Ulamog does he run?
Aetherworks Marvel, he's got 4 copies.
Yeah, that was not the question, Luis. Ulamog 4?
Yeah, also 4 Ulamogs.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for that helpful comment.
Well, it's their best card, so.
Which one?
Ulamog, it's the most powerful.
No, it isn't.
Dylan is actually kind of in a tough spot here because he's got 6 mana out and 2 10-drops. Drawing lands isn't that good because if he just draws lands, he just does nothing for like 4 more turns. But drawing spells when he has all these 10-drops in hand isn't that great either. He wants to draw almost exactly Marvel or Glimmer of Genius. He wants to draw cards that let him see multiple cards at the same time.
So Sam activated his Hissing Quagmire in order to block. But Dylan said, you know, I don't think I want you to do that. I'm going to use Harness Lightning to just kill that Quagmire. Sam did tap it for black mana, though, before that happened. Floated it, waited till it died. That has Revolt, and now he can cast Fatal Push. So it worked out okay for Sam, though he is down a land in the transaction there. And he's going to cast Traverse the Ulvenwald. A quick check says, yes, he does have Delirium. The Walking Ballista is in the graveyard, and it should be. Remember, even though Magma Spray targeted it, Sam did sacrifice it to do 1 damage to Dylan. So it did end up in the yard, and that's half a Delirium on its own. So he's going to get to search up a Tireless Tracker.
If Sam has a land to play, this could put him in a very good shape here. And it looks like he does.
Holy smokes. BDM just whispered in my ear here. Dylan had no buys for this tournament.
Wow.
That is impressive.
He's running the tables here.
He plays at Scott Lips Card Shop. Spanky's. I believe it's in Kansas City.
It is.
Wow, what an impressive performance here for Dylan. No buys is rough.
So Dylan up to 7 mana here. Still pretty far away from casting these Ulamogs, and that Tireless Tracker is not going to give him a lot of time.
Here's another Traverse Ulvenwald for Sam Pardee.
If he wants to get the maximum amount of pressure, Virtuous Gearhook certainly qualifies.
There it is. It's got the mana to cast it, too. Teamer Marvel deck. Not huge on counters, just those sensors and some negates, but this Virtuous Gearhook's going to hit the table. And Dylan's just on nothing. Well, I mean, he has his 2 best cards in his hand, but
Still a few mana away from casting them.
I think Sam's going to be pretty excited that all of this just happened without a hitch. And is Dylan just going to cash in this Thopter to prevent 6 damage? No.
He's not, and that actually could come back to bite him because Sam has Fatal Push in hand.
Oh, yeah, that could be. You got to figure that Thopter's not going to prevent much more than that this game, right? That's about its peak. That's about peak Thopter right there. He's lining up his mana for something. What did he find? A Marvel? No, 3 mana. Okay, a Rogue Refiner.
Rogue Refiner
Ooh, into Glimmer.
into Glimmer is kind of exactly what Dylan needed in order to hit land drops. And he hit
Did
2
he
marbles.
double Aetherworks Marvel?
Actually seems pretty good because he can spin a marble, and if he misses, he can play and spin another marble, assuming he finds another land.
It's weird to keep 2 of the 2 legendary permanents, but well, I guess he's going to just say, I only need 1. Luis, what if you saw land there and you were in Dylan's seat?
It's pretty close. I would imagine you certainly put 1 on the bottom. I'd probably put both on the bottom, I think. I don't think you have time to just play 3 more lands and play Ulamog.
The board's just gotten two out of hand here.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of lands, Sam Pardee plays 1. Excuse me, sacrifices a clue. Sacrifices another clue. And there's Fatal Push and Essenter's Deliverance for the Thopter to deliver 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's lethal. Oh, that really did come back to bite Dylan, didn't it? The non-chump block there.
And he looks at see what he would have marveled
He
into.
did. He had to look. I couldn't see if he would have hit, but he had 2 more Ulamogs in there, and those would have been fantastic as Sam really just had 2 big threats. Whew, that ended up being pretty close, but Sam Pardee takes game number 1. We'll be back with more after these messages. the Omaha. If you're just tuning in, we're in the semifinals. We're watching Sam Pardee versus Dylan Ionis. And on our other table, we've got Brad Nelson versus Paul Dean. Let's take a look at that right now. Teamer Marvel Mirror, as these two are battling out. And it looks like they're still in game one, although this is not good news for Paul Dean. It's funny because when I saw him looking at the, counting out cards, I thought, oh, this is good for him. He probably just spun a Marvel, and then he went right past 6 and kept counting. I'm like, oh, this is not good for him at all. That is Ulamog. This would be lunch. I like to think of it as breakfast, lunch, and dinner. By the time you get dinnered, you're dead. You can usually survive lunch.
Sometimes you don't make it to lunch.
You sometimes don't. Breakfast, always on the house, no problem. And that looked like lunch to me.
Oh, yeah. Not only does Brad have Ulamog, he also has Chandra, and his hand is Negate and Harness Lightning.
I know.
Like 5 other
The
cards.
more I've looked at this, the worse it's got for Paul Dean. Brad Nelson seems to have maneuvered himself into a very favorable position
I don't even know
against
how
the
they
Canadian.
got in this game state here.
No kidding.
Oh, Brad also has a Marvel spin into turn ready, like kind of banked.
Oh. Paul kind of flashed his hand there. Well, either our graphic is wrong or we have the mythic rare Game 1 handshake. I don't know which.
It's been a couple of events since we've seen it, but the Game 1 handshake is a staple.
I'm down for it.
Yep, that was it.
Love it. 6-12, looks like 22 energy. Left fallow there for Paul Dean. Feels kind of good to get a Game 1 handshake under the old belt here. It's been a little while. Back to our main matches. Both of the matches are getting set.
And there's only 2 matches left in the tournament. Remember, this is the semifinals here. So, got Sam Pardee against Dylan Ionis and Paul Dean against Brad Nelson. Those are the only players remaining playing.
Indeed.
Not in the building. We got a lot of players playing side events here.
Yeah.
But in terms of the Grand Prix itself, that's what we got.
Sure, they ran a PTQ here.
I suppose Sunday PTQs are a thing now.
They're back. That used to be kind of the staple at a GP, is if you didn't do well on the first day, you would come back in the morning and play a PTQ. But it was kind of supplanted by the Super Sunday series for a while, and now they're kind of back again. You can PTQ again.
Well, you in the general sense.
Jeez. Are you even allowed to?
I am not. I actually might if I was allowed to, but
you can't even sign up. Well, I guess being in the Hall of Fame's not all it's cracked up to be.
There's benefits and downsides.
You'll take the upside over not being able to play in the day 2 GB PTQs. The sacrifices you've made, Louise.
Well, don't get Ben Stark started. He really actually wants to play in them.
I know. And the ones down in South Florida, I see him occasionally spout off on social media about it. I don't blame him. I mean, it is a little weird that he doesn't get to play Magic, but I can also see that. I think if I was playing in the PTQ, I'm like, really?
Well, that is, of course, the reason. And again, for good reason.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, well, looks like I spoke a little too soon. Dylan on the play here in game 2 is going to take a mulligan, and looks like Sam's kept his hand. Uh-oh. We'll see how this ends up going for Sam and Dylan. See a Matt Nass walking by in front of our coverage booth on the way over to the feature match area, undoubtedly to check in on Sam. He's a close friend of Sam, in fact, his roommate. And before you ask in the chat, yes, he's wearing basketball shorts. Nice ones, too. Look like they're new.
Yeah, Matt Nass is a member of the Shorts of the Month Club. They just send him basketball shorts every month.
They
It's
curate.
high-end basketball shorts, of course.
I mean, these ones were shiny. We played basketball with Matt at the Pro Tour a few weeks ago, and I kind of half expected him to come out in jeans. Dylan, can you keep this hand, my friend? I certainly hope you can. I'd love to see a really good game here. And yes, he has kept it. He's got a tough opponent here, Sam Pardee. Uh-oh. Scry to the bottom.
Aggressive scry to the bottom.
It was. He's not happy. Sam's going to play Hissing Quagmire before passing the turn back to Dylan. Dylan's hitting his land. So the fact that he's played a Shrine of the Forsaken Gods on turn 2 here, Luis, not great news for him, right? I mean, it signals that he doesn't have any other color. Oh, he's got his other. Does he have 2 of those in his deck?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Okay, so now Sam's job is to get on the board.
Yeah, and Sam didn't have a 2-drop, and he's not really expecting this Nissa to resolve, but in fact, she does.
Between Negate and Censor, just nothing.
So Dylan has the option to play Marvel here, but I think wisely is keeping Glimmer of Genius up instead. That's going to be a lot more effective from this board position.
By the way, this is a turn sequence that we've seen quite a bit of here. Oh, Sam's going to go for Dispossess here. I was going to say where Sam would play a creature and then minus, but it looks like it is going to be Dispossess from Pardee.
So Dylan may be regretting not playing the Aetherworks Marvel last turn, but again, with 0 energy and no prospects for energy besides Glimmer, I think it makes a lot more sense to Glimmer first.
And this is very important from Sam's perspective, right? Because we know that the Temur Marvel deck can grind, but one of the ways you can get back from being far behind is spinning an Aetherworks Marvel and hitting an Ulamog. That can just solve your problems. Now, Dylan's going to have to do this the hard way. He's going to have to hit his land drops off of this Glimmer of Genius, and he's just going to have to cast spells that can compete with what Sam's doing. The good news for Dylan is that Sam effectively took a turn off here by playing Dispossess. He's got this Nissa, but he's going to get another plant token out of that.
Sam's got to be feeling very optimistic about his chances here. He does have to worry about Confiscation Coup, and Dylan is going to get to cast Glimmer of Genius, so the game is not over, but Sam is strategically ahead here.
By the way, Dylan does have a Confiscation Coup, and Sam knows it, so is he worried about him taking the Nissa? Is that I mean, certainly the best thing on board right now, but is that even...
Sam just has to make sure he doesn't play like a big Verdurous Gearhulk.
Yeah,
or
I also forgot that you can't do that. It's artifact or creature, right?
Right.
With Confiscation Coup. So what is he worried about having stolen then?
Gearhulk would be the biggest one. Any creature that's large, like a big Winding Constrictor or something that has gotten a bunch of Nissa counters. What Sam may try to maneuver, if he can, is being able to transgress the Confiscation Coup and then not have to worry about it being cast on one of his bigger threats. The problem there is that it slows him down if he doesn't have transgress. He can't just do nothing, because eventually Dylan is going to get to cast Ulamog. And remember those 2 shrines? Those are actually really, really relevant.
They looked bad on turn 3, but they look a little better as we work our way through.
It means that Dylan only needs 8 lands total to cast Ulamog, and he's already 5 of the way there. So Sam has to keep that in mind. He can't just sit there forever.
The fact that he knows about it, though, certainly helps, right? I mean...
Well, here's the Verdurous Gearhulk.
Here we go.
I would expect to see Sam not put counters on the Gearhulk as a kind of solution to Confiscation Coup. Also, note Sam is plussing Nissa aggressively. I think he might be going for a Nissa Ultimate.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Dylan's going to trade off his Rogue Refiner with one of the plants that picked up the tokens. And like you said, he didn't put any of the counters on the Hulk itself.
And that mitigates the effect of Confiscation Coup.
Still pretty good, though, right?
Yeah, it will still remove a 4/4 from Sam's side and add one to Dylan's side, but it looks like Dylan is going another way.
But it's just not that savage blowout.
The unexpected Confiscation Coup, like we saw one earlier in this tournament where Scott Lipp stole a 10/10 Verdurous Gearhulk from Matthias Hunt. I think you were in the booth for that one.
That was a beating.
So a reason that Dylan would play Rogue Refiner here instead of Confiscation Coup is he really wants to hit land drop in order to get to Ulamog here, and he's got Harness Lightning so that he can pick off the Gearhulk if he needs to. Though we're reading the Nissa now.
Mm-hmm.
Once you see a Planeswalker with like a lot of dice on it, you're like, hold on, what is that ultimate
What
again?
is that again?
What's happening
Do I
here?
need to worry about this?
Oh, and it looks like Dylan's actually short blue for Confiscation Co.
Well, he hit it now, but
Oh, you are right. Matt Nass does have fancy basketball shorts
told
on.
you they're shiny. He's like distracted me now.
He's also watching the stream on his phone
Yeah,
despite the match being played 10 feet away from him.
He is. I wonder if he's listening.
I don't believe so.
He doesn't have any headphones on, so he probably doesn't know we're talking about him. But
Matt Nass knows there's always someone talking about him, though.
he just didn't. He just has that sense.
So once again, Nissa has not been minused. You'd normally expect a much more aggressive minusing, but Sam is on a plan. And once you've started committing to that, that doesn't mean you can't change your plan. Sunk
Yeah, you
costs
still have
are
a-
a real thing.
Yeah, but you have a ton of plants, and those counters count, right?
But once you've already gotten this close to ultimate, the equity of ultimating seems like it's higher than using a minus.
Ooh, how about more Planeswalkers? Ob Nixilis, reignited. And Sam's just going to keep the board under control by killing the Rogue Refiner.
So it's reignited. So it's like the remix to Ignition.
Well, it's definitely hot and fresh out of the kitchen, and this is going to get out of hand pretty quickly. Now we've got Nissa on 7 loyalty. We have an additional Planeswalker. Still that 4/4 attacker. Now this is the turn that Dylan gets to untap with Confiscation Coup and can look at stealing the Gearhulk perhaps, but maybe too late.
Yeah, and Sam is now outnumbering Dylan 3-1. There's 3 Planeswalkers to
Yeah.
1 here. And that's going to put Dylan under a lot of pressure. And this is the kind of game, and we've seen this out of Sam's deck many, many times. He's defeating a Marvel deck that doesn't have Marvel. Because the Marvel deck without Marvel is just not a broken deck.
That's right.
And
He took away the Marvels, right? We got to give Sam credit, but yeah, his mid-range game plan is just doing better. I think I like my plan of Confiscation Queen the Nissa a little better.
that would have been great if it was a legal
If
maneuver.
it was legal. I'm just a little ahead of my time.
So next turn, Ulamog can come down if Dylan hits a land drop. So Sam does have to worry about that.
So are we going to see this Nissa?
Presumably Sam gets there. He doesn't have any actual attackers on the board. So he's going to need a little bit more help here if he wants to actually finish the game. And a Nissa ultimate might be exactly what he's ordered. Sacking an Evolving Wilds first here. So he's got now 7 lands. So we're talking about 7 life and 7 cards.
Draw 7's pretty nice. Though, Ulamog, right? Like, does Sam have any cards in his entire deck?
Transgress the Mind.
He could just take it out of his hand.
So that's
But he
kind of
could-
that's what he's looking for here. As he ticks up Ob Nixilis first here.
Who? It's kind of sweet if he did it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Ultimate Nissa. So you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of lands. And like we said, that's 7 in this case. So digging for Transgress. Does he also have... Uh-oh.
It looks like he got it.
Oh, he found it. So he's going to take it away.
And that shuts the door on Dylan in terms of casting Ulamog next turn.
Yeah.
Dylan can draw the land, but won't have an Ulamog. Can draw the Ulamog, won't have the land.
Yeah, even if he draws Glimmer, he's going to have to cast that for 4. So Ulamog next turn's off the table. Uh-oh. Pair of snakes?
Oh, yeah. Sam discarding the hand size
Must be nice.
to have Ulamog on your side.
Dylan did draw a land, by the way. He drew an Ether Hub for the turn, so he would have been able to cast it. So Sam really did need to hit that. The downside here to Sam's play, though, is that he does lose Obnixilis without having to throw a whole bunch of things in front of Verger's Gearhulk. But with 2 Whining Constrictors in play, you got to feel like Sam's going to be able to just go off here.
Especially since he drew 8 cards last turn.
Right.
In addition to his draw step. And here we go.
Gearhulks are a dime a dozen for Sam Pardee. He had one of them stolen, didn't care.
Oh, man.
Oh, no, a 3rd Whining. I've never seen this.
So he's getting 4 counters on each of his 4 creatures. Oh, this is amazing.
He needs a bucket of dice here to make this work. Look at this.
So that's 20 damage.
Dylan's going to scramble and gain 6 here from 2 Woodweaver's Puzzle Knots, but Sam Pardee.
Ulamog won't even do it. An Ulamog off the top will just not be enough.
You know you're living the dream when an Ulamog doesn't do it, and he doesn't have it. Sam Pardee into the finals here in GP Omaha with Black-Green Constrictor. It is going to be Black-Green Constrictor against Teamer Aetherworks Marvel. You just have to figure out who his opponent will be. It's either going to be Paul Dean or it's going to be Brad Nelson. And we have a winner in our semifinal match as well. We were going to pop over to watch, but it just ended. Oh, boy. We got a nice one. Brad Nelson just won 2-0 over Paul Dean. Paul with 2 fantastic GP finishes in the last month or so, a finals and now a semifinal exit. So really consistent, great stuff. But he did not go through, and we got a great one. Brad Nelson versus Sam Pardee in the finals. This is going to be exciting. Black-Green Constrictor versus Teamer Aetherworks Marvel. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be back after these messages.